welcome to Senior Happenings. My name is Trisha Ayers, and I will be your host today. Very excited about our guests. We're going to get to our first one right now. We have Courtney Nelson, who is with PACE of the Ozarks. Courtney, thanks for coming this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Now, PACE of the Ozarks. For anybody who doesn't know what PACE is all about, explain.
So PACE is a national program. PACE stands for Program of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly. So we provide all the services to keep seniors living safe in their homes and out of a nursing home.
Okay, so how long has PACE been in our area?
So there are 3 locations in Arkansas, and we are the youngest currently. There's some more opening soon, but we have been around almost 6 years in Springdale.
Oh my goodness, 6 years.
Yes.
As we were talking about, I can remember coming before the program was opened. We got to go around and see all the great services. So what does PACE do in the community, and who does it serve?
So PACE serves seniors, anybody that's 55 and older, live in one of our service areas. So we cover 29 zip codes in Northwest Arkansas. So we're roughly from Bella Vista to Winslow, from Siloam Springs to Huntsville. So there's a lot of different areas in there, and then they also have to be medically eligible, which means that they are nursing home level for needs. This doesn't mean that they have to live at a nursing home, but maybe just need a little extra assistance staying safely in their homes.
So when you say nursing home eligible, so really the point of the program is to not have to put people in nursing homes if they just need a little bit of extra care.
Correct.
Okay, good. So I know you have an adult day program.
Yes.
Because I used to work for Village House, and when Village House unfortunately closed, I know we sent lots of our clients to you guys at PACE. So how do you qualify for the day program? Is that just something you offer to all of your folks?
So when you are approved for PACE, all of our services are offered to you. There's no cap or anything on that. Our day center is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. They can come in and get a hot lunch and do recreational activities. We have obviously bingo is a huge hit, and then we have some private groups as well. So there's a poetry group. They get together. They're able to do a Bible study group. That's personal preference, so they can hop in on anything they are interested in.
So, and I know you provide transportation for the folks
Yes.
who cannot get them there themselves, or a family member cannot bring them.
So we provide transportation to and from our day center and to and from doctor's appointments as needed. So that's available for our participants.
And I know another thing with PACE, you take over people's medical care at that point.
Correct.
How does that happen?
So when you join PACE, we require that you change your primary care physician to a PACE primary care, just so all that care is being coordinated through one doctor. Your specialty doctors can stay the same, and you have personal preference on who you want to see in the area, and then we do their prescriptions as well. So their pharmacy services, we're able to deliver those to their homes or give them to them at the day center.
So the folks who maybe don't want to participate in the day program, or do that just maybe once a week, what other services do you offer them?
So if they just want to stay at home and get a little service from their house, we have home care as well. So our home care department coordinates all the care needed at home, whether that's a caregiver to come in for light housekeeping, help with showering, bathing, personal care, things like that, or as well as incontinence supplies, their DME equipment, wheelchairs, walkers, canes. We provide all of that for them as well.
Wow. And do you contract that out to in-home care companies, or?
Yes, so our home care companies are contracted out. There are different companies in the area.
Great. So how did you get involved with PACE?
So fresh out of college, I applied for a job and showed up at PACE to have my first interview, and I had no idea that this program was even a thing, and got my tour, and I was shocked that these resources were out there. I have grandparents that live in the area, and I was like, this is where my grandparents need to be. You can tell off the bat when you go in there that everybody really cares for these seniors, and if you come into our day center, you can tell that it's like close family.
Oh yes, you do a great job at doing social media, and you can really see the care and love that's going on there.
Yes,
totally.
for sure.
So how do you get most of your clients? How do they come to you?
A lot of our clients are word of mouth.
Okay.
So we get a lot of referrals from different hospital systems or just family members that call and they are having some burnout and wondering what the resources are for their parents or other family members, and they don't really want them to go into a nursing home. They would like them to stay living at home for as long as possible.
Can people use you as a respite, or is it once you're qualified for the program, you're in the program?
So any of our services are only used for our participants that are enrolled. So we do offer respite for the family members, and they get so much allotted to them, and our participants' family members are allowed to use that.
So if a family member comes to you and said, you know, I've been looking after mom or dad, and it's just, I need more help, what's the process then?
So from that initial contact, we work with them on starting an application. And so our application, we can come to the home, we can do it at our day center and provide a tour, or we've done some over the phone as well. We start that process, it gets submitted to DHS, and that determines their financial eligibility. And then from there, we would have their medical eligibility side. So a company called Optum does a medical assessment, and they have to receive a tier level 2. This is a very wide range, and we can't tell you that you would obviously be approved for the medical side without them doing that assessment. But from there, if they're financially and medically approved, we bring them in to meet with our doctor and meet with one of our social workers and make sure that we can safely support them in the community. And from there, if they like what they've seen and they enjoy PACE and we can safely provide services, then that's when we would sign on.
About how long can that process take? And I know that's a big question there.
Yeah, so typically we say that the process can take anywhere between 30 to 90 days.
Okay. Most people taken care of in the 30, or?
I would say yes, it's running a bit smoother.
Okay.
The hang up there is that we're not in control of that process, so we're waiting for a caseworker to be assigned through the state of Arkansas and get things back. And every person is different, so what they have and need to verify and things like that, that could make the process more lengthy. But then we have some that, you know, they're approved very quick.
Can't control DHS.
Cannot.
No.
I wish, but.
Yes. So I'm understanding that if somebody is applying for Medicaid for your program, you also do private pay, I'm sure.
Yes, so we do offer a private pay option, but we do try and get everybody that applies approved for what's called PACE Medicaid, which is different than traditional state Medicaid. The income and resource limits are higher. It's a little easier to get approved for. But if they're approved for that PACE Medicaid, then all of our services are completely free to them.
Wow, everything is free if you qualify. Wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
That's truly amazing. So what's
a little too good to be true.
What is your favorite part of PACE?
My favorite part of PACE is within my position, I get to be their initial contact and see them once they're before enrolled, and then once they've been in the program for a little while, how their lives have changed. And just making those relationships, a lot of them have become like grandparents to me and super close, and it's really nice to see their lives completely change. You know, especially with that initial contact, you're going out, you're seeing their homes where they are without these services, and then a month or even a year down the line, you've seen how much has changed for them.
Absolutely. So for people who are watching at home, what are some of the things to look for maybe from elderly parents or grandparents that might be a sign that PACE would be a good idea for them?
Yeah, for sure. I would say anybody that's 55 and older, obviously.
Be careful there. Be careful. Okay.
Obviously, where they live at matters, so they have to be in our service area. But anyone that is needing a little extra help staying safely in their home, maybe they're calling a child a lot, or they're needing a lot of transportation, they're frequent flyers at the ER, maybe for something that isn't so serious, but it could be for them and nobody else has eyes on them as often. So maybe you just want eyes on them, or that ER visit could be swapped out with primary care that they're seeing more often.
Sure. And obviously, I'm sure you do tours at PACE.
Yes.
So if family or even the senior, we want to include the senior.
Yes.
We don't want to take the senior out of the equation because they're the ones who are going to have to participate in the program. They can come and see what's offered in the program.
For sure, and they can, we do tours at any time, and we're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30 for those, but even if they come once and they decide they have more questions once they get home, because PACE is a lot, we have a lot to offer, and so they get home and think of more things, and they could come back for another tour. So, and they're also being brought in for those initial assessments and pre-assessments, so they're getting to see our facility more often than just once.
And I'm sure continued evaluation to when it does get to that point where PACE cannot give the senior everything they need, sure?
Yes, for sure. So we offer we operate as an IDT team, so that's interdisciplinary. So we have 11 different point of views that are meeting every morning talking about these participants. So they know every aspect of their life, and this is therapy to dietitians to our primary care, and even transportation is there, and so they're able to know this person as a whole. And so if it ever comes to a time where it's not safe for us to even support them in the community anymore, then we would help them with that transition.
It just seems like an amazing program to be able to have everything under that one roof, because I'm sure when people have maybe just in-home care and they don't know what the physician is prescribing and nobody sees other than the company that comes in, the situation at home, to be able to have it under one roof. I don't know why we don't have more of these programs.
Right. I would say the same thing, because we run into a lot of people who are being treated for the same thing from multiple different places, and nobody is managing that. So we like to just take that part out.
Yes. So what are some of the things that are hiccups in the process for somebody coming in and they go, this seems great, and then they're like, ooh, I don't know whether I want to do that, and it seems like a minor thing or a major thing to them. I would think giving up primary care is probably...
Yes, for sure. I think with anybody, change is hard.
Yep.
So PACE is a big change in your life, and that primary care piece is a super big change for a lot of people who have seen the same doctor for maybe 40 years.
Yes.
Versus they come to PACE and this is somebody new. I think just being able to offer them so many more services helps out with that a lot, and a lot of ours have found out that maybe their primary care that they've seen within the last yearly appointment, they're retiring soon.
Yes.
So they also get to come in and meet our primary care. So they get her face-to-face. We have Dr. Chaffee, and she does an assessment, and they're able to ask any questions to her at that point and kind of get to know her before they're ever signing on. And so that kind of gives them and the families peace of mind, because they know what they're getting up front.
Now, do you ever have anybody who gets into PACE and then they're just like, this is just not for me, and then they transition out of the program?
The only time really that we run into that is if there's any kind of moving, and then they're no longer in our service area. We don't run into a lot of, this isn't for me at all, and sometimes it is overwhelming at the start of it because it's something new, and coming to the day center, a lot of these people haven't had social interaction in maybe years, and so they've become homebodies, and getting them there adjusted takes some time, and so sometimes they're not always on board at the very beginning, but they grow over time. So we have some that have said they would never go in the day center. They're not old enough for the day center.
Okay.
The day center's for seniors.
Right.
But then a month goes by and they're like, well, maybe I'll have lunch today when I'm here for my doctor's appointment. Maybe I'll stay for bingo. And then after that, they're on the day center schedule, and they're every week.
Of course. How many people do you have participating in the program at the moment?
Now we are serving 123.
Wow.
Yes.
And what is your maximum capacity?
We do not have any maximum. We can enroll as many as possible, and how that looks is if we get to a certain cap number, then we'll start opening more day centers in the area.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yes.
So you were talking about coming to the day center and activities. You didn't mention karaoke, and you were telling me you're a bit of a karaoke queen.
We do have karaoke, and I am a karaoke queen. But a lot of people do karaoke, and the seniors love karaoke. But what happened was I was walking through the day center on karaoke day,
Yes.
and we had one of our participants grab me, and she said, I wrote you in. You're singing today. And so you're going to need, if you have a meeting or anything, you're going to need to cancel it, be down here at 1:30. I'm like, oh, yes, ma'am. So first on the list, I
Right.
have to sing Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid.
I love it. I love it that you jumped in there.
Yeah, it's a performance.
So how do you, because you're marketing and intake, get the word out there about PACE? What kind of out in the community do you do?
So in Northwest Arkansas, there's a lot of different meetings that meet weekly or monthly, and we try to get involved as much as possible with those. We're also involved with the hospital system, so a part of my job that I do is if we ever have a participant that's hospitalized at any hospital in Northwest Arkansas, they do have personal preference, so they don't have to go to one certain hospital, and I'm trying to make contact. When they go into the hospital, I'll go and meet with the case manager on the floor or the nurse that's taking care of them and try to be involved as possible with their care, but also make sure those case managers know that we are a resource for them because they are firsthand seeing all of those frequent flyers to the hospital. So they're going to know, they may benefit from PACE. They may have somebody. A lot of them, we have our dialysis, so transportation for them is crucial, and they're in the community and not always meeting their dialysis appointments because they don't have that transportation that's consistent.
Right.
So that's a big population of who we serve, and so the hospital knows who's in there because they missed 3 dialysis appointments in a row, and here they are. And so they get familiar with us and are able to refer to us.
That's great. So hopefully nobody slips through the cracks.
Correct.
Well, if somebody is sitting at home right now and they do go, this may be a great program for myself or my mom or my grandma and grandpa, how do they reach out to you, Courtney?
So they can reach out by calling us at 479-463-6600. Or they can go on our website, and there's an intake form as well. It's just some basic information to get in contact, and we will do all the contacting from there. And this can be anonymous as well. So if you have a neighbor that you're worried about and you don't want them to necessarily know that you are worried about them, you can give us their contact, and you can leave a note saying you would rather stay anonymous, or you can not put your information at all.
Nice.
But from there, we do all that contacting. We'll call, we'll go to their home and do the whole process
That's
for
great.
them.
Such an amazing program, and I hope more people take advantage of it because it is truly an amazing program.
Yes,
and
for
I'm old
sure.
enough to be in it, so maybe I'll be reaching out to you soon. So, Courtney, thank you for coming. I know it was kind of last minute, and I really do appreciate that. And we're going to see you at the Senior Expo, I hope, in April.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. We're going to take just a few minutes break, and we will be back with my next guest from Circle of Life. Thank you so much. Welcome back to Senior Happenings, and my next guest is Teresa Mills, and she is with Circle of Life. And we know Circle of Life, my goodness, I think everybody knows the great work that the hospice does for Circle of Life, but we have a new facet now. So, Teresa, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And we do know the wonderful work that Circle of Life does,
Absolutely.
but they've added a new dimension.
Yes.
What's the new dimension that they've added?
Well, we're not just hospice anymore,
Okay.
Which is wonderful. We have what's called personal care, and that means we're able to take care of a senior in their home or wherever they call home. That could be an assisted living, a memory care, a nursing home, even in the hospital. We can help them with their personal needs, with their activities of daily living, with errands, with meal preparation, with meal planning, just a host of things to give their families that peace of mind.
And people who are not on hospice care?
They don't have to be on hospice. We have a lot who are, but
Yes.
not everyone. And some people just need a little help. Some people need extensive help. So we're able to bridge that gap, like I said, and keep them home.
Why did Circle of Life go in that direction? Just saw this need?
We had a hospice patient's family come to us and say, hey, this is something that you should really consider. I think it could be good for you. And it has been wonderful. I can't even tell you how many people we've served over the last year, but it's filled a need in the community. And of course, in concert with our hospice care and our care navigation and all of our other programs, it's just a natural fit. So.
And you just had a grand opening. We were talking about that briefly.
We did. We're so excited. We are part of what's called our home-based care team. So we do have our hospice can be in our hospice house or at home. We are all at home, right? So all of our home-based care team, our outpatient people, are located in our new building in Lowell, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful to have everybody for the home-based team under the same roof.
And the building is called?
The Joey Feek Center for Home-Based Care.
Thank you. I was reading that this morning,
Yes.
and so a very generous
donation. Actually,
Yes.
the lead donation was from the Willard Walker Foundation.
Okay.
And so we are very excited about that. And we had the big grand opening last Friday. We had Joey's family in. So it was a wonderful celebration and really meaningful for them.
Absolutely. So for people who are not familiar what in-home care is this just for our seniors? Do you serve seniors?
It can be anyone, honestly,
Okay.
because you don't have to, we are private pay, so we don't have to have a medical qualification necessarily.
Okay.
It can be you've just recovered from a knee surgery, knee replacement, and you need some extra help for a few days. It doesn't have to be from now until the end.
Okay.
It can be time limited. We do prefer to have it pretty consistently. We do have a lot of clients who are cognitively impaired.
Yes.
So any sort of consistency is better for them especially, but it just really means a lot to families, like I said, when they can't be there, to know that someone's there with their loved one.
That's great. And you said that you do go into assisted livings and independent livings.
Absolutely. It's that extra layer of care. And sometimes in an assisted living, memory care, independent, the staff will recommend that they have additional care, that they have a one-on-one. They may need a sitter for some reason.
Okay.
We can do that. We do more than just that because we work really hard to interact with them. We want to match our caregivers with the right clients. It's just
Absolutely.
a better situation all around.
And where do you get most of your caregivers from? Is there one place or just word of mouth?
Word of mouth. I actually met someone the other day, and she's getting her CNA license, and so she's going to apply. Someone I used to work with yesterday just said, hey, I need a few hours a week. So it is word of mouth. We love it when our current caregivers refer their friends. We are very picky on our caregivers. We don't hire just anyone.
Right.
We're very cautious. We do background checks. And so, to give families, again, that peace of mind is huge.
And you go to background checks. That's very important. Families who choose to have in-home care
Absolutely.
come in, always check that there are background checks.
Absolutely. It's a criminal background check in addition to a driving check because our caregivers can drive their parents around if need be.
Okay,
So we
that's
make
good.
sure that it's all clear before we hire them.
And may I ask what your background is? How do you come to Circle of Life?
My background is senior living, assisted living, and memory care. I've done that for years and years, and I loved it. I took a slight break after COVID, but when I had the opportunity to come back and to come to Circle of Life, I was thrilled and couldn't be happier to be where I am.
Oh my goodness, yes. So you see the benefit of going into...
Absolutely.
And I would think somebody who is in independent living, that's something that may keep them out of assisted living.
It could very well, but it also, as you're in independent living, you're a lot of times declining and you're trying to not go to assisted living. We can help with that.
Right.
More eyes on.
When I do think of Circle of Life right now, I'm starting to think of the in-home
Yes.
care, but I generally do think of the hospice care. What have your stumbling blocks been getting the word out
just that the very first thought anyone has
Yes.
is the hospice side. So the biggest thing that we want people to understand is we are more than hospice. We're
Right.
not just hospice anymore. Never want to discount that because it's such a huge program and it's been so beneficial for over 30 years. But there's more that we do. And really, we are the circle. That's the whole point. We are, all encompassing. So just helping people understand that there's more to us.
Well, I must say, you ladies are out in force. Every senior networking meeting that I go to, there's generally a group
Yes.
of you out there spreading the word from hospice to the in-home care. So you're definitely out there in the community.
Thank you.
What I do love about the website, and it does go into the
Yes.
in-home care, but there's so many resources for people
Yes.
to go on there. I mean, it's just all the different groups and the different accommodations.
Yes.
It's a great resource for anybody.
Absolutely. Well, it's overwhelming when you're an adult child and you're looking for services for your family member. A lot of times you don't know where to start. So having somewhere you can go for those resources is huge.
Right.
And we like being a resource.
Well, Teresa, you're being a great resource today. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
If people want to get in touch
Yes.
with your side of the equation,
Absolutely. You can call us at 479-872-3394, or you can text us, which is pretty handy,
Yes.
at 479-334-3319.
thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much
My
for being
pleasure.
here. And we will see you out and about, Teresa.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time with Senior Happenings.